This video will discuss strategies for dividing by ones and then thinking about also zeros in division. So if our problem is 8 divided by 1, this can be kind of a tricky problem to think about, and if ever I get stuck, I always put problems in context. I give them a story problem to help me really think about them to figure them out. So here's a story problem. I had 8 candy hearts. If I put them into one bag, how many would there be in one bag? Well, that's easy. All of these would go into the bag. There'd be 1. So in this case, 8 was my total, and 1 was the amount of groups that I had. And so I'm just trying to find out how many would be in that group. If you have 8 and you put them all in one group, the answer is 8. Now, a second way we can think about division is where we have the total, and then instead of how many groups, this is going to represent how many in a group. So here's the context for that. I had 8 candy hearts. If I gave 1 to each of my friends, how many friends would get a candy heart? So here I'm finding out how many are in a group, and really I'm trying to find out how many groups are there. If I had 8 candy hearts and each one of my friends gets one of these, well, I'm going to have 8 friends get a candy heart. So for me, I think the other context is easier for me to come up with this answer. You could think about it either way, whichever works best for you. Figure out the one that is more efficient. So another example, Susan picked 4 flowers and she put them in one vase. How many flowers were in the vase? Well, I know the total's 4. They're all going to be in one group, so the answer to 4 divided by 1 is 4. Now this one you'll notice we're not dividing by ones, but it's related to ones. These can be tricky as well. 12 divided by 12. If you think about subtraction, right? 12 minus 12, it's always 0. So when we get to division, we have to think a little bit more about what is this problem asking. Taylor has 12 eggs. If 12 eggs fit in a carton, how many cartons does Taylor need? So it's really asking how many 12s fit into 12. If 12 is my total and I have 12, well, there's only going to be one group. So 12 divided by 12 is 1. So if you get a problem like this and you're stuck, put it in a story problem. Next, we're going to talk about zeros. 0 divided by 3. So I have 0 apples, and let's say that I have 3 baskets. So there's 1 basket, 2 baskets, 3 baskets. If I have 0 apples and 3 baskets, how many apples will be in each basket if I divide them out evenly? Well, the answer is 0. I have 0 apples. It doesn't matter if I have 3 baskets or 100 baskets. This answer will always be 0. 0 divided by anything is 0. Now, sometimes you might have, or maybe in your class, you've talked about this problem, 3 divided by 0, and maybe your teacher told you, you know what, you can't do this problem. This is actually, if you type it into your calculator, you'll get an E. It'll actually be a capital E, but you will get an E saying error. You can't do this kind of problem, and I want to explain to you why that is. So think about if you have 3 crayons, and I have 0 crayon boxes, and I want to divide the crayons out evenly into the crayon boxes, how many crayons will be in each box? Well, here's the problem with that. I can't say 0 because I don't have any boxes at this point. I can't say 3 because there's no boxes available. So I'm kind of, this 3, they're just kind of left hanging out here. I can't do this problem. It's not possible. So since it's not possible mathematically, this problem, we can't do it. So you can never divide by 0. Mathematically, it's not possible. So don't get confused because you can take 0 divided by 3. I can have 0 apples and put them into 3 baskets. There's still going to be 0 apples. But if you try to come up with a context and it just doesn't seem like things fit, then you might realize that, you know what, this is a problem we can't do. 3 divided by 0 cannot be done. So remember, when dividing by ones, think of the problem in context. So for instance, if I have 9 candy hearts and I put them into one group, I know that's going to equal 9 in a group. And when you're dividing 0 by a number, think of the problem again in context. I have 0 apples in 4 baskets. How many apples are there in each basket?